President Trump in Washington, D.C. this morning following a working weekend at Camp David, hunkered down with, as you can see in the image, Republican lawmakers and cabinet secretaries hammering out an aggressive 2018 agenda.
So what is in store for the new year? White House Office of Management and Budget Director Mulvaney spent the weekend with the president at Camp David, and he joins us now. Good morning to you, Director. Thanks for joining us.
So Good morning.
Morning.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, welcome to a balmy Washington, D.C. It's wonderful here.
It's 21 degrees there.
Right.
All right.
Okay, 2018, what can we expect? What did y'all talk about in that room?
A couple of different things. We have some immediate priorities. Obviously, we have to have a funding bill by the end of this month to keep the government open, and we'll do that. We also spent a good bit of time talking about DACA. I think that's been fairly widely reported. And then we also talked about the other things we'd like to try and accomplish this year. The president and many folks in the Senate especially are interested in talking about an infrastructure bill. We'll continue discussions on that. The House is interested in trying to figure out a way to put work requirements into welfare reform. That's absolutely critical. We're running out of workers. The economy is so good. We need more people to go back to work. So it was a very productive meeting, and I think it'll be a good year.
Mick, how bright is the red line on the wall for DACA? The wall either on the visa as well as chain migration and the visa lottery program. The Democrats, a lot of bluster about how committed they are to DACA. How firm will this president fight for that wall?
Two different pieces on that. Number one, there is $1.6 billion in the request for this year. That's the 2018 funding bill that we have to take up before the end of January. The president is absolutely committed to that. That's part one. Part two, which is the larger wall, that $1.6 billion doesn't build the whole wall, obviously. There's about $18 billion to finish the southern border security. The president is absolutely committed to having that as part of a larger DACA agreement. So it's really two pieces, $1.6 billion for some money for some wall this year, and then a larger agreement for the entire wall, for the entire border security package as part of DACA.
Okay, so you're huddled with Republicans. The Republicans are all on the same page, but Mick, you know the Democrats are going to try at every opportunity, including this potential government shutdown, to try to get a DACA deal because they feel that's their leverage. If the president wants the wall, wants to keep the government open, wants to do anything, they got to deal with DACA.
Yeah, and let's remember why we even have to incorporate the Democrats into this discussion. The House would be relatively easy to pass a bill to fund the government without addressing DACA, but we have to have 60 votes in the Senate, which means we have to have Democrat support. I always laugh when the Democrats say we don't want to shut the government down because the next word out of their mouth is always but. There are some folks in the Democrat Party who are interested in shutting the government down over DACA. Again, I do not think it's going to come to that.
Are there Democrats interested, though, in collaborating, in getting to 60? Because there's been so much investment in resistance. Will they not be seen as complicit or collaborators in the Trump agenda if they're willing to vote for something that would in any way benefit this president?
That's the real question, isn't it? I mean, when we hear them say, oh, they want to work on a bipartisan basis, but the real question is, are they willing to even consider giving this president any success at all? They're so heavily invested in obstruction. You see what they're doing on our nominees. You see what they're doing on judges. Can they do anything that could allow Donald Trump to claim success? I don't think their leadership can. I don't think the folks who are high up in the party can. Maybe some of the rank-and-file senators who are worried about re-election might.
All right. Mick, before you go, I know you talked about a legislative agenda for 2018. I'm sure the president talked a little bit about that book.
He did. I mean, it's obviously false. I talked to the guy for about half an hour. I remember talking to him in March. I think he put 2 sentences about me in the book, both of which were inaccurate. And it made me wonder if I talked to the guy for half an hour and he only put 2 sentences in, my guess is everything else I said was not consistent with that preconceived narrative that he wanted to write. That book was written long before he had talked to anybody. He's just out trying to sell books, and it's a bunch of trash. But, you know, that's journalism these days, perhaps.
Sad state of affairs. All right.
Not on every channel, not on every outlet. So
we appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, Mick.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Great
the
to see
show.
you.